Boxing Truth here. I was originally going to do a full fight review of the Fedor Chudinov and Felix Sturm rematch when the fight happened this past weekend, but I couldn't find a live feed, a link to the fight, so I had to wait a while to watch it and just watch the fight and definitely agree with the overall reaction to the fight. It was definitely a robbery of the highest order. Home cooking decision for Felix Sturm. I scored the fight 10 rounds to 2 in favor of Chudinov. There were a couple of swing rounds in the bout. Round 1 was a close round. Round 3 was a close round. Round 7 was a close round. But overall, you could clearly see that Chudinov won the fight. He was way more active than Sturm. He threw a lot more punches. He was in command. He outboxed Sturm. He was in control of the fight. He was at a pace that Sturm couldn't handle. Sturm had a fight in spurts. He just couldn't handle the younger man's pace. He was in better condition. Shouldn't have. Drew a lot more punches. Landed a lot of punches. The knock on Chudinov's performance was that he just didn't show a lot of passion in the ring in that fight. I mean, he was just going through the motions. He was more content on just landing punches and building up points. He just wasn't showing a lot of knockout intentions in a lot of his punches. Not much damaging, seeking blows that he was putting on Sturm. It was just he was more content on just scoring points and just outlanding and outworking Sturm, and that was his biggest mistake. He should have did more. Showed more initiative and trying to hurt Sturm and trying to go for a knockout. He should have imposed his youth, his strength. He was a better overall conditioned fighter. He was the younger guy. He was in control the majority of the fight. Sturm, he just showed a lot of lapses of inactivity in the fight. He just wasn't letting his hands go a lot of the times. Was taking a lot of breaks in betweens. However, when he did punch, he did throw a lot of big punches. He was when he did throw, there was passion behind his punches. He was trying to do some damage when he did throw. Threw a lot of big body punches. Had some good moments in the fight, but just too much inactivity in between punches, combinations, and he showed signs of age in this fight. He was at times didn't look like he was able to pull the trigger, and shouldn't have. Was just kept landing and kept punching away, but he just wasn't throwing any big shots, or didn't really show an urgency to knock Felix Sturm out or to hurt him. Sturm was never hurt in the fight, never. Shouldn't have definitely did win the fight. He definitely got the shaft in Germany. He should have showed more urgency to try to get Sturm out of there. I mean, Sturm has been knocked out before, so it's possible. But he should have known that it's tough to get decisions on the road, especially in Germany, against a fighter like Sturm, who's been on both sides of the spectrum, of the decisions in boxing. He's been on the wrong end of decisions. He's gotten decisions that didn't go his way, and he's gotten a lot of gifts in his career. So he's experienced both sides of boxing decisions. Now there are reports that Sturm may consider retirement. He definitely should consider it. He showed his age his last fight. He did not win that fight. Only gave him 2 rounds. 8-4 is the closest he can make this fight. Maybe you could have gave Sturm rounds 1. Maybe you couldn't have gave him round 7. But other than those rounds, there's really no other rounds you can give him. I gave him round 3, and that was a close round as well. But I gave him that round. And there's also reports about Chudinov's team. They're going to protest the decision. It was a terrible decision. Not one judge gave it to Chudinov. Definitely a home cooking. And also there are reports about something was up with the gloves of Chudinov, and they definitely have a case there about Chudinov's gloves. It was strange. His gloves before the fight had the Grant logos on them. And when the fight ended, you couldn't see the Grant logo on the gloves. They disappeared. They wore off the brand, and there was something was up with Shudinov's gloves. Now their team's claiming that maybe the gloves weren't, they weren't proper. Maybe they were softer. Maybe the punches shouldn't have landed. Should have had more an effect on Sturm. Maybe he shouldn't have had some pillows on that night, because shouldn't have landed a lot of punches, and he just didn't do any damage though. That was the problem. He didn't do any damage to Sturm. He didn't hurt him. He didn't knock him down. But he did outwork him. He did outland him, and he did outbox him. And that's boxing. Sometimes bad decisions happen all the time. And the feed I was watching, I'm not sure what feed it was. I think it was Box Nation. But it was they were definitely in favor of Sturm. A lot of dick riding. A lot of the highlights they were showing in between the replays in between rounds were all for Sturm on the moments he had. And in the 12th round, one of the commentators said, "It's anyone's guess who's winning this fight." It made me laugh, but that's how it is. That protest most likely won't go anywhere. Usually the protests don't. A lot of teams file protests after bad decisions, and they end up not going anywhere. Nothing's happened that I can recall in the past of teams protesting a bad decision. Usually just stays on the record unless a fighter tests positive or something like that for a banned substance. But it looks like a third fight's going to be in the works. It's definitely warranted. Didn't deserve to lose his title in this past Saturday in Germany. Definitely won the fight. And Sturm's considering retirement. Maybe a third fight could be more lucrative for him now that he's a 5-time world champion, German's first 5-time world champion. But definitely not impressive. A lot of close fights, a lot of gift decisions. Some decisions didn't go his way. And he got another gift decision this past weekend against Chudinov, and now he's the WBA World Super Middleweight Champion for the WBA. Anyways, that's how I saw the fight. I scored it 10 rounds to 2 for Chudinov. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.